Earlier this week, I discussed how I'm going to meet my goals for this quarter and how I'm going to attain them over an 8.5-week period. And a few people asked about what I'm going to be eating to meet my protein goals, because I want to get no less than 100 grams of protein in a day, and technically I want to hit higher than that. So I thought today would be a really great way to show you one of the easy ways to add that protein without an excessive amount of calories and without feeling like you're on a diet. And so we're going to do that. It starts with dessert. First, I want to introduce you to the stars of this show, Fairlife milk. In particular, the fat-free light blue one. Okay, it's 50% less sugar, 50% more protein, blah, 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 blah. Then there is the Premier Protein powder, plus fiber, the vanilla and the chocolate flavor. And then there is the sugar-free pudding, the cheesecake, and the chocolate. Now, I threw this together as a, what else do I have to do? Let's give it a try. And my husband, for those of you that don't know him, Phil, tasted it and went, oh my gosh, this is like Boston cream pie. I'm like, you know what? It really, really is. So that's all you need for this. And then a blender. A blender helps a lot. And the blender is plugged in. And I will show you the math on this, but I'll also show you just how quick it comes together. For the record, I will be using these containers, but you can use whatever you want to. And I apologize about the noise in the background. I am canning something right now, and so that's doing its thing. So in the blender, we are going to put 2 cups of milk, and we're going to be doing this twice, okay? So 2 cups of milk, the Fairlife milk, and that's because it does have more protein, less sugar. When you compare the carbs to whole milk or, whatever, it's amazing. And then when you compare the protein, if you choose to do like 2% or whatever milk, it really is the better choice for this kind of eating plan. Okay, so next I'm going to empty the cheesecake, ta-da, the cheesecake pudding mix right into the blender there. And then we're going to do the vanilla protein powder. And I accidentally got rid of the scoop. So I'm swapping the scoops between. There it is. Okay. Yep. Try not to make a mess. Okay, so for each box of pudding, I put 1 whole serving or 2 scoops of the protein powder into the blender. Whoop, gotta make a mess. It's just not the same if I don't make a mess. Okay. And then we put the lid on and we set it for 30 seconds. One of the things that I want to remind you is that it's a combination of high protein, low calorie, okay, and low carb. And I will show you all the mathing on this right after I show you how I set them up. So now I've got these 1 cup containers. I'm going to fill each one, I'm going to eyeball it, halfway with the cheesecake pudding. Dun-dun-dun. And it should take just about all of this. Okay. So, poof, that's one. My kitchen, I can lick my finger. Okay. Now, we put the other 2 cups in. And, of course, I need another container. Yes, I do. I don't bother rinsing it out. I don't really see a purpose. So, 2 more cups of milk. And then we're going to do the chocolate instant sugar-free pudding. I have tried some of the off-brands. I like the consistency that I get with the Jell-O brand. So I stick with the Jell-O brand. And just like with the cheesecake and the vanilla one, 2 scoops of the chocolate protein powder plus fiber. Fiber is super important, my friends. It makes things move the way that they're supposed to, as we get older. You know what I mean? Okay, so wash, rinse, repeat, 30 seconds. Now, part of the fun with this is because you're putting it into the blender, it's also kind of aerating it. So while it should technically only make, you know, X amount of cups, like 4 cups, it makes more because it's aerated. So now you're going to divide this and see, because it's the instant pudding, even though it's kind of warm in here today, it still sets up in that short time in between batches so that it doesn't mix right into the cheesecake one, and the chocolate one is right on top. Okay, and go. And I'm going to have to get a spatula to make that even out. And that way, okay, not having full use of my right arm is going to frustrate me for a while. Okay, so you're just going to divide that in between so that they're half chocolate and half cheesecake. And honestly, I do it in this order because I don't have to rinse it out, and the cheesecake doesn't look like chocolate that way, right? And because it is instant pudding, it sets up pretty quick. And so we're going to get the lids and put them on. Now these are easy, they're done, they're set up. And when you get that sweet tooth, whether it's late at night, in the middle of the day, whenever, then these really absolutely meet that need, that desire. One of the things that when people go to lose weight, they tend to think deprivation. And that is a recipe for failure, quite honestly. If you're feeling deprived, you are really less likely to succeed. This gives you your sweet treat, and by my math, which I will show you in a minute, it comes out to 135 calories, 7 carbs, and 17 grams of protein per container, per cup container. These are 8 ounces, okay? And so that is a great way to add to your protein numbers and still get that sweet treat so that you don't feel deprived. Welcome to how my mind works, okay? So this is how I figured it out, because the Fairlife milk, a serving size is 1 cup, 6 carbs, 13 grams of protein, 80 calories. I need 4 cups for a batch, and so that's 24 carbs, 52 grams of protein, 320 calories, okay? The protein powder, a serving size is 2 scoops. So for each 2 scoops, the vanilla is 10 carbs, the chocolate is 11. Both of them have 25 grams of protein per serving, 7 grams of fiber, 130 or 140 calories, depending on whether it's chocolate or vanilla, okay? Now remember, for net carbs, you subtract the fiber from the carbs, and voila, you know. Okay, now the pudding, yeah, this doesn't have any protein, okay? But for a box, it's 120 calories for chocolate. It's 100 calories for vanilla. 7 carbs for chocolate, 5 carbs for vanilla. So now we're going to go through, okay? And we've got 21 carbs total for the protein powder, 50 grams of protein, 14 fiber, 270 calories. For the 2 boxes of pudding, it's 220 for calories and 12 carbs. You do all the math, and all of that together, not divided at all, is 810 calories, 57 carbs, or 43 net, and 102 grams of protein. When you make it all up, it goes into 6 containers. So doing that math, it's 17 grams of protein per container, 7 carbs, that's net, and then 135 calories. That is exactly how easy it is to figure out how to make something more protein friendly that typically isn't, and then how to do the math to figure out what it all comes down to, because that's important to keep track of. You want to keep track of your calories, your carbs, and your protein. Those are the important ones to watch. And we want, well, at least I do, I want at least 100 grams of protein a day. And I've been told I'm not eating enough calories, which just irritates me. So I'm shooting for 2,000 calories once I'm back to working out every day. And then the carbs, my goal is to keep it under 50 a day, but you do what works for you. This is just me telling you what kind of trouble I'm going to get into, okay? When I tell you this sets up in, I mean, no time at all, it's literally minutes, just a couple of minutes, and it's set up. Let it chill because it tastes better when it's cold, you know, but otherwise, it's awesome. It reminds you of a Boston cream pie without the bread part, you know. It's just the inside part. Oh, because that's the good part, right? So if you like Boston cream pie, this is how you have a low-carb Boston cream pie, high-protein dessert that will take care of that craving, that urge, because you can't say I'm never going to eat sweets again, but if you're going to eat sweets, at least make them count. And that's what we're doing around here. So I hope that this helps. I'll be sharing some other random meals as we go forward, but I thought I'd take care of dessert first because Boston cream pie, I mean, who wouldn't? Thanks for coming along on this journey. I hope that you're getting yourself all set up to begin on the 1st or sooner. You can start today. And we'll talk to you in the next video.